All right, in this video, we're going to break down all the effects that Firebot has. If you're new to Firebot or you just don't know what's going on with it, with the effects, I'm here for you. And we're not going to break down or go into detail on some of these, but I just want to give you guys a general overview of what these effects are and how to use them. So starting from the top, we have an ad break. Simple, it starts an ad. Add a quote. So Firebot has a quote system. So if somebody says something or somebody does something funny in your stream, you could actually quote that and reference that quote later on. Next, you can do announce. So Twitch obviously has the announce feature now, so you can actually trigger an announcement within your chat. Ban, obviously you can just ban a user. API effects. So Firebot is actually integrated within a few APIs and they're always adding more. Celebration, there's two different celebration types. There's a fireworks and then there's a confetti. Send a chat message. You can send the chat message as the bot or the streamer. Chat activity feed. So on your chat dashboard, instead of showing a chat message to everybody, you can have a message that only you can read. Clear chat clears all the messages in chat. Clear effects will actually clear all the effects in a particular queue. And we'll talk about queues a little later. Conditional effects. So you can do a bunch of conditionals to run certain effects only when those conditionals actually met. Cooldown command, you can add a manual cooldown to a particular command. Create a clip, obviously creates a Twitch clip. Custom variables, so custom variables allow you to store custom data in a particular variable, and then in the future you can utilize that data to run certain effects based off of that information. The next effect is delay, and delay is going to add a delay before it triggers the next effect. Delay effect will be useful if you want to trigger, say for example, a sound before a video file plays, something like that. Emulate control. So this will emulate the control of either your keyboard or your mouse. So that's actually pretty cool. So if you're running your bot on your actual gaming system, then you can actually do, say for example, a channel point redemption where, they'll actually move forward or backwards or left or right or drop your current weapon, something like that. HTTP requests, you can actually send a request to a server. I'm not going to get too far into this, but kind of ties back into the APIs. You can actually send a request to an API and get information sent back to you. Hue scene, so you're actually able to control Philip Hue's lighting systems directly in Firebot. Loop effects, so this is actually something pretty cool if you want to, say for example, play a sound over and over again a certain amount of times off of a channel point redemption. You can actually loop those effects over and over again, however many times you want. Manage active chat users. So within Firebot, Firebot has a specific role that is active chat users, and you're able to manage who is in that specific role. Mark all activity as acknowledged. So on your activity feed, you can actually mark everything as acknowledged. I don't really use this very much, but hey, you know what? If you're somebody who needs to mark something as acknowledged, this is for you. Mod, you can actually mod and unmod users. You can play sound and video files directly in this bot. So you don't need to go out and get a different bot for, playing sound and video files. You can purge a user's messages from chat. So say for example, if you choose to ban somebody, you would tie this effect into that. So that way, when you ban them, you also get rid of their messages as well in chat. Random Reddit message, you're actually able to get a random image from a subreddit. Remove user metadata. So metadata is information that's stored about the user that you can define. So say, for example, if you created a custom game and you want to track how many wins or losses they have in a particular game, you would use metadata. And this would actually remove that key or that piece of metadata from that user. Reset a timer. So Firebot has timers. So say, for example, every 60 seconds do this or every 15 minutes do this. You can actually reset the timer. Roll credits. So this actually ties back into Streamlabs. If you have Firebot linked in with Streamlabs, you're actually able to trigger the roll credits feature of Streamlabs. Roll a dice is just a fun little stupid game. You can essentially roll a dice. Run a command. So say, for example, if you have an effect that would tie into a command, you would say run a command. You could choose the command that you actually want to run. Run a custom script. So this will actually run a custom JavaScript script. Say that 10 times fast. JavaScript script. I'm not going to be able to do it. If you're somebody who knows JavaScript, you can create a script and you can actually run the script directly from Firebot. Run an effect list, which is basically a group of effects that you want to be ran. So say, for example, shout out, you want, the image to be shown on the display of the user as well as the chat message. You would create that as an effect list. Run a program, so you're able to run external programs outside of Firebot. Run a random effect. So say, for example, if you have, your socials, you can have an effect list of all your socials and it'll pick randomly from those. So that way you're not spamming out all your socials at one time. Just one example. Run a sequential effect, basically the same thing as the effect list, but it's sequential this time. Send a Discord message, so you can link in with your Discord and send a message to a particular channel in Discord. You can set the stream category as well as set the stream title. Set user metadata. So we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. This is where you would add the user metadata. So for example, wins on a particular game for a user, or maybe how many streams they've attended, things like that. Show HTML. So if you know HTML, you can actually write HTML directly in Firebot and it will display that on your overlay. Show an image or GIFs. You're actually able to display images directly from your computer. Once again, you don't need a separate bot to show images. Show shout out. So this actually display a shout out overlay that Firebot created of the actual user. show text on your overlay, which will actually show text on your overlay of anything you want. So you can reference all the variables within Firebot, but also variables that you created, as well as obviously just typed out text. Spin the wheel. So this will actually trigger Streamlabs spin the wheel feature. Stop effect execution. So if you have an effect list that actually takes a long time, it'll actually put a stop to that effect list. Take a screenshot of the existing screen. Text to speech, which Firebot has its own text to speech bot, so you don't need to download anything else extra. It's just built into the bot itself. Now, if you want to get a little more advanced with your text to speech, use Amazon Polly, which has integration within Firebot. Text to speech using Amazon Polly is amazing. The AI is incredible. Time out a user for a certain amount of time. Toggle a command, so you can actually turn a command on or off based off of, certain events or parameters. Toggle connection would actually just toggle all the connections and integrations within Firebot. You can toggle event statuses. We're not going to get too much into that. You can basically toggle the event on or off. Same with toggle the event set. You can actually disable all the events within a particular event set to where they will never run. Toggle a timer, so you can turn the timer on and off. Update channel reward, so you can dynamically change the information for a channel reward. So things like, the cost, whether it's active or not. Update a counter. So counters are a great way to, track things during your stream. So maybe things like wins, losses, kills, or for me, exclamation fall damage. Update currency. So currency is a great way to reward users over the course of time for coming into your stream and supporting your stream. And you can do things obviously with the currency, kind of up to you, but this is updating the currency, adding or removing currency. It has integration with Elgato. You can control Elgato key lights, as well as the Elgato key light strips. Update viewer roles. So you can have as many roles as you want, and you can update and remove people from each of the roles. VIP, add or remove people from VIP status, and then write to a file. So you're actually able to write data to a file, which is useful because you can actually in OBS read from a file. So dynamically, you can write to a file and OBS will read that information as you write it. I hope this video is useful in giving you guys an introduction into some of the effects that you can utilize within Firebot. In future videos, I will be breaking them down even more and creating some kind of unique things that you can do within your stream with Firebot.